You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
All right, welcome. I'm Stacy Rossetti. I teach people how to invest in self-storage. So if you want to learn how to get into the storage business, I am here to help you. You're in the right place. And today what we're going to do is we're going to go over something that I've never taught before. So what I'm going to do is like brainstorm with you guys on kind of how I'm going through this process, one of my processes inside my company right now. So, and I figured we could just kind of go through it and then I can add to it. We could brainstorm along the way. But I teach like every Wednesday here for free for anybody that just wants to listen to me ramble about storage. That's what I do. This is not like a pitching session. I don't teach the same thing over and over and over. It's just whatever is happening in my world in storage is kind of what I'm teaching about. And that could be based off of what my students need or maybe something that's going on inside our business. So we have 16 storage facilities. We manage them in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. I also partner in another maybe 10 or 15 deals, and they're across the country. So, we have put offers in almost all 50 states. We have not put any offer in Hawaii yet, but we have done offers in Alaska. So we've done pretty much every state in the country. I know almost every storage facility in the country outside of maybe primary markets. We do not make offers on primary market facilities. We make offers on either secondary market or tertiary market facilities. So that means like mom and pops, like true mom and pops, just like me. There's people out there just like me. That's who we make our offers on. Okay. So that's what I teach. We do have a couple of facilities in primary markets, but primary market is a totally different ball game, right? You're not gonna want to get your first facility unless you have some people backing you and stuff in a primary market and they know what they're doing. Okay, so you're gonna start out in maybe a tertiary market in the country in a smaller populated area, or maybe even in a secondary market. So typically those are markets that are around like 150,000 people or less. Most likely it's going to be somewhere like 75,000 people or less. That's what you can afford, unless you can afford millions and millions of dollars. Typically, the people that come into my coaching program can afford maybe $2 million or less. I do have some people that can afford $3 million or less, but those would be $3 million or less really gets you into like a small secondary market right now. Commercial real estate is getting more and more expensive. Right? We all know interest rates are high. We don't know what's happening with the economy, with the market. We don't know when the interest rates are going to be lower. So all that means is when you have high interest rates, you have to get a better purchase price. That's it. It's the same thing, a lot of people through COVID, they had a low interest rate, so they were paying high purchase prices. And now it's just opposite. It's flipped. Okay. So that's kind of what we're going through right now. And so just a quick reminder that you can find anything that I do, everything I'm teaching is always going to be on stacyrossetti.com. Okay. And you could just go there. I do have a couple of things. I have a book that's going to be launched. It's going to be on Kindle here probably within the next couple of weeks. And then after that, I'm going to do an audiobook. And then after that, we'll do print if people actually want to buy it. I don't even know if people buy this thing, or maybe I'll just give it away for free. I don't know what I'm thinking on that. But for now, that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like Kindle, the ebook, and then like audiobook, just to see if people are interested in it or not. So be on the lookout for that. You can go to stacyrossetti.com and get on the wait list. I was thinking about doing a promo where I hand that book out for free for maybe the first day or two. So if you're on the wait list, you will be notified that you can get that. But if you're not, then you will not be notified from that. Okay. And let's see what else. I have a boot camp this weekend. So if you really want to get into this business and you're just not sure about how to do it, then I would really recommend you coming to the 2-day boot camp, because you're really, after 2 days, you're going to be like, okay, now I kind of get the idea of what I should be doing. The goal for you right now, you are in stage 1. All right. So you see the stages, you're in stage one. Stage one is where you want to get a facility under contract for the most part. If you own a facility, put it into the chat that you own a facility. But even if you own a facility, you're going to eventually get another facility under contract, right? You're going to go back into stage one. But for the most part, you are wanting to get a facility under contract, or at least learn how to find facilities and run deal analysis and make offers, right? And be able to negotiate. That is what stage one is about. I teach quite often on stage one and the process. The process for stage one is in the online course. It's a lot of videos that go through step by step the online course. And then I also teach in the deal analyzer, I teach how to run deal analysis. If you come to the bootcamp this weekend, you get the deal analyzer for free, as well as the course that comes with it, which is typically around $500. Okay, so, and then that way, because in the boot camp this weekend, we're going to go over all the different ways that I have bought my facilities. So I own 16 facilities, and I really haven't put any money into purchasing any of the facilities. Now, we come out of pocket for operational expenses, but we do not come out of pocket to buy the facility. I use other people's money, or I do creative deal structure. And that is basically what the boot camp is going to be about. So if you're listening to me right now or watching and you're like, I really want to get into this business, but I really don't have that much money to do this, then that's what this boot camp is about. Because the truth is that you don't really need money. All you need is to learn how to be creative. And if you can do that, then the sky's the limit. So that is what this boot camp is about. So hopefully come hang out with me. It's virtual. You just hop onto Zoom just like this. Just listen, take notes, get inspired, become aware of all the different types of structures that you can do. Okay. All right. So that is me in a nutshell. Also, over the course of the last week, I opened up my turnkey acquisitions program, which is where you can hire my team to find you a deal. You don't have to do anything except for, make offers, but we give you all the information in order to do that. So that's what turnkey acquisitions is. And so we got a really good response. And, I'm really excited about the next couple months being able to help the people that joined. The doors are really closed, but if you go to the website, if you go to Stacy Rossetti and click on turnkey acquisitions, you can still apply. I haven't closed down the website yet, just for the application purposes, but I will probably at the end of this week. So if you want to get in, just let me know. Then I'm not opening turnkey acquisitions up until next year. Okay. I'm not going to be marketing for turnkey acquisitions anymore after this week. The goal is to help the students that join turnkey acquisitions find facilities. That is the purpose of turnkey acquisition. So you can check it out on my website if you're interested. Okay. All right. So let me see. Okay, so now what I want to do today is I want to go over something that I've been thinking about, but I haven't really come up with the structure yet. It's really part of the management process and kind of what we're doing internally to really manage to manage our properties better and just be leaner. Now, we own 16 facilities, so the way that I think is different than the way that you think. You don't own a facility. So you're going to be thinking in just smaller terms than me. But the truth is that the process that I go through and everything I do should be applied to what you're doing for your facility. Okay. And so that's kind of what I want to go through and come up with this process and really kind of fine tune it. And so I thought I'd just share it with you guys what I'm thinking. And you guys can put your 2 cents in and let me know what you think. Or maybe if you have any other ideas, I can add to it as well too. Okay. All right. So y'all ready? Introduce yourself in the chat. And tell me, yes, I'm ready if you're ready, please. We had a super stressful week here in Tallahassee. We had 3 tornadoes come through on Friday. And we got hit in our backyard. The winds, I don't think the tornado came through, but the winds came through and it ended up we had a tree that fell down, this massive oak tree. It got twisted and fell down and barely missed our guest house. And so that happened on Friday. It was super, I was taking my dog out for a walk. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? This big, massive tree was in our backyard. So we have a guy out there right now, cleaning up this tree. It's so it's it's a whole process for us to figure this out. And a lot of people really had a lot of homes that were destroyed. And even my assistant that works here in the office, she had she lives in the area where the tornado touched down, and she ended up her whole area that she lives in is devastated. So I don't know what's up with the weather. You guys tell me what's up with the weather. Why is it so crazy? What's up with hurricanes, tornadoes, flash floods? I'm just not quite sure. Mudslides. I'm just not quite sure what's going on. So we dealt with that this weekend. It was really, really stressful, a stressful Mother's Day for me. So, but anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. So let's do some management stuff. I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm thinking. Everybody says they're ready, so I appreciate it. Okay. All right. So let's do management. Okay. This is kind of how it's working for us internally, how we are managing our facilities. How does somebody that owns a lot of storage facilities manage all these facilities? Okay. And we have facilities in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida is where we are. So we're managing those facilities. Now, all the ones I partner with, my students, they're managing the facilities themselves, but this applies to everybody. Okay. So let's talk about this. I have a facility owner mastermind, like within the Storage Nerds coaching program. Once you buy a storage facility, you get to start coming to this owner mastermind. And we had the owner mastermind yesterday, and we had a good group of owners, and we were going through all the challenges that everybody's having, and really just kind of, the process and how everything flows as a management company or as an owner of a facility is what we talked about yesterday. And this is where kind of the idea started coming to me. So, there's a couple of things inside our company right now that we are really spending a lot of time on and a lot of money on. And one of the main things that we're doing right now is we're doing marketing, right? So let's see how many lines we have. Okay. So one of the biggest parts of owning a facility is what your marketing is. And we all kind of know that, right? But I want to reiterate that the best marketer wins. And that's how it's becoming now. Even if you're a little tiny facility in the middle of nowhere, if you're not marketing your property, then you're not going to get filled up. And right now, the way that the market is that occupancy is low. I feel like this year occupancy is kind of going back up, but last year it dropped dramatically. And and so we lost a lot of tenants. We were having a hard time and really struggling trying to get people in. And this is something that as an owner, you really up until maybe last year, maybe a year before, we never really struggled with getting tenants. And then last year really kind of it came to fruition that we need to be upping our ante in the marketing game, because even in the smallest locations, it's like, why aren't people moving into these facilities? So you struggle with smaller facilities and tertiary markets, trying to people come in, because it's just a smaller market, right? And then on when you have medium or larger size markets, you're struggling with competition and trying to be the best facility in the area. So that's kind of how that's how we're looking at it right now. So I'll go kind of a little bit into that now. Each one of these really needs to be like a whole session, but I'm just going to do an overview. And then inside the coaching program and during our boot camps is kind of what we go deep into. We talked a lot about this deep into it yesterday. Okay, so marketing is a big thing right now. The second thing for us that's super duper important is phones. Right. And I always say this: whoever answers your phones is going to make or break your facility. All right. If you do not have a good person answering your phones, then what you're doing is you're screwing yourself over. If it's you, are you a good person? Are you a salesperson? Are you a customer support person? And a lot of times that is two different types of personalities, right? Just think about that. Okay. So you have sales and you have customer support, okay, under phones. Another thing that you have under phones is you have what we call follow-up, and then we also have collections. All right, so we have sales, customer support, follow-up, and collections. And that is how we divide our phones up. Now, if you have one facility and you're the only person answering the phone, you do all this, right? And then as you grow and add more people, or if you get a call center and you hire a call center to answer your phones, this is what you should be asking them. Who answers your phones on leads? How do you handle your customer support? Is it the same person or is it a different person? Who handles collections and who handles if you miss a call, or if you are on a wait list, or whatever, some sort of admin and you have to follow up with the tenant. Who's kind of handling all that? So we divide that into 4 different groups. It's kind of how we do it internally. All right. And I'll get a little bit more into that as we go through this, but that's kind of how we do the phones. Okay. The phones for us is super duper important. And The more time that we spend with each of the people that answers the phone and the more training they get, then the better they get, which means that we get more conversions and we get like, less complaints. Like our customer support, because we use like a company that manages reviews for us. And like our reviews are always like 4 or 5 stars. It's always like, great, friendly service. The staff is great. Really rarely ever do we get any people complaining about customer support. And you hear in the industry all the time, like people are complaining about ESS, answering the phones, customer support, storage, customer support, site link. You know what I'm saying? So it's like customer support. If you own a company that handles customer support, it's really, really important. And especially in the storage business, if you do not have good customer support, then the people are just going to go on to the next facility. Or let's be like, all right, let me just move my stuff over to somebody else. And they do, right? They do it. They do leave. Okay. So, all right. So gone are the days where people are like loyal to one storage facility. They're just not. I mean, people are moving in and out. If there's a better price, if there's a better deal, people will just move their stuff. And we see it all the time. So like in our mind internally, we're thinking like, why are people moving out? What is the reason? And actually under customer support, right? So we keep track of, actually it's really kind of customer support and marketing is kind of where this goes. But what we do is we keep track of move-ins and move-outs. And then when they move out, what's the reason? And every week we go over move-ins and moves out per facility. We see, how many people are moving in, how many people are moving out. And then we also look at what the reason is. It's like, okay, I got moved into a house, or I don't need storage anymore, or I found a better price, or this situation happened. So and then if you know what the true reason is of why somebody moved out, then you can really kind of come up with an SOP or come up with a script or come up with some sort of a way to talk to customers so that you can maybe save the situation, especially if they move out and they're not happy and they're going to give you a bad review. So our goal is like no bad reviews at all, none. And if we get a bad review, we discuss it every week in our meetings. We haven't had a bad review in a while, but we did get a 3-star on one of our facilities last week, and there was a reason because of that. I can't remember what it was, but maybe I think the gate wasn't working properly or something. And it's like, okay, what can we do to make sure that customer is happy? Are we following up? Are we reaching out? Can we send them a gift card? What can we do to get them to make sure that they're happy? And this is a huge, big part of owning a storage facility, whether it's 50 units or 3,000 units. This is a big, big part that we're trying to focus on, because the truth is that there is a lot of competition out there. And if you're not treating your customers, the best that you can, then they're just going to move on to the next facility. Okay. So that's us. Now, I started in the storage business 8 years ago. This was not really honestly a thing that you talked about in the industry. It was always more about like a little bit of marketing and then like, where you're going to buy your next facility, right? And how long you're going to hold to it, what your numbers look like, what's your cap rate, stuff like that. And now if you're owning a facility, this is what you're talking about. All right. So you have marketing. That's one area that we talk about every week. Phones, we talk about every week. And then also another thing that we talk about every single week on all of our facilities is this: occupancy and price. Okay. Occupancy and price. Like it just mind boggles me how many owners do not look at this on a weekly basis. And so for us right now, we have like almost 3,000 units. Okay. So we have a lot of units. So it's kind of a lot to manage. But one of our facilities is in the Atlanta market, and we are running out of space that's able to be like leased up. Okay. So like the way that facility works, let's just give you an idea. Kind of, let's just say it looks like this. All right, here's your facility. Okay. And you have like all these units, right? And they're all 10 by 10 or whatever it is. Okay. And so this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, all right, are all unrentable. Okay. Why are they unrentable? Any guesses? You can put it into the chat. Why are they unrentable? Okay. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why they would be unrentable. And all these, these are all rented. Okay. And let's just say this one is late. Okay. These are all rented. Okay. So you've got and ours are late payments. All right. So you've got X's are unrentable, right? Ours are late and the rest is filled. And then you have also vacant, right? Then you have vacant, which would be empty. Yeah. This is typically kind of like what your facility looks like. These are like the 4 ways to look at your facility. And so let's just say all these are filled. This one's late. Okay. This is how your facility looks like. So now when we look at this, so this is what I'm doing, right? I'm looking every single week at how many move-ins and move-outs that we're getting, right? Your move-ins minus your move-outs is your net rentals, right? So how many net rentals on a weekly basis do we have? How many net rentals? And so that is how you calculate how fast you're leasing up your facility, right? So if you're +8 -4, then you have a plus, 4 rentals. If you're +8 -9, then you have -1 net rentals, right? So you're always, this is why it's so important to be looking at how many move-ins and how many move-outs you have so that you understand the concept of net rentals. Your net rentals dictate what your occupancy and your price should be, right? And also based off of the competition as well, too, what the competition. But we do right here, we do what's called dynamic pricing. Sometimes people call it yield management. Okay. And that's okay, so we've got five rentals available, right? We've got all these V's. Okay. But we're getting on average 8 move-ins a week. Right? So how are we going to handle this? Right? And so you have to be on top of how many unrentable units that you have. Now, I asked, why do we have so many unrentable units? This facility that we bought was like a severely mismanaged facility. And it's a 20,000 square foot facility. So it's a big facility, but there's a lot of unrentable units. And the reason they're unrentable, I'll give you some of them. Okay. The springs are broken on the door. The latches are broken. The door doesn't work, maybe for some reason. Or there's a roof leak. Or another thing that happens too is the ceiling is falling. The ceiling padding, or they're full of stuff. Or they've just gone through the auction process and they haven't been emptied out. They haven't been bid on. They were won, but they haven't been emptied. Or they did not get bid on. There was no bid. And now you have to pay to get them emptied. You have to figure out how to get them emptied. This is just kind of like my brainstorming right here. But this is kind of the stuff that we're looking at on a weekly basis. So I'm thinking, how many people are moving in? How many people are moving out? What's our net rentals? How many rentals do we have available as vacant units? How many people are late? Are they getting into the auction process? Have we called them? Are we on top of collections? Are we getting them to call? If we're not getting them to call, we need to be calling every single day till we get them, and then until they get into the auction process. And then we're talking about unrentable units. How do we get the unrentable units rented so that we are not losing money? Because every week that goes by that you are not filling your units up and you have units that are just sitting there, all you're doing is just kicking yourself in the butt because you're losing money, right? And so this is kind of the process. This is the mindset I'm thinking about on a weekly basis for every single one of my facilities. And it's fun. I love it, but it's also stressful because you have to manage a lot of this. This is all logistics. Now, when you have one facility or two, it's not a lot of work, right? But once you start getting more and more facilities, it becomes a lot of work. You have to really kind of have people that understand these concepts so that you can be on top of it. Because every time that we are not on top of this, all we're doing is losing money. And it'll show you in your your management software how much money you're losing based on all of these reasons right there, based on unrentables, late, and then vacant units. And I see those numbers and I'm like, Go get that fixed right now is what I'm doing. I'm like yelling at everybody. Okay. And my husband Pete, he kind of manages everything. And I just chime in and just like yell at people is what I do. That's what I'm good at. I'm the director. And my husband kind of just makes sure everything gets done. So, anyways, that's the personalities there. So now I kind of gave you an idea of what these unrunnable units are looking like, and then what we're thinking internally on how we can be on top of all that. Okay. And this is for a mismanaged facility, or this is for income producing property. These come up all the time for your facility. So you have to be aware of what's happening, and you have to be on top of trying to get everything fixed so that you don't lose that money being vacant. Okay. And so then I kind of brought it up right here. So we've got marketing, we've got phones, we've got occupancy and price. I'm going to add another line here. So we could add this, but I mentioned it, but auctions, right? You have to be on top of your auctions. This is something we discuss every month in the facility owner mastermind. You cannot let an auction go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months anymore. You have to get the people out if they're not paying, because it is costing you a lot of money to not have those people rented. So for us, we have one person internally that handles all the auctions, and we do our auctions on a weekly basis. If not a weekly basis, we also do it on a bi-weekly basis, because we have so many facilities. Now, you guys have one facility, you just do it on a monthly basis, but you have to be on top of it. And you can really automate this system, but every state has their own lien laws, right? So you have to figure out whatever state you're in, your contract will state kind of what the process is, and then you just have to adhere to that contract. Now, we use online auctions. We use storageauctions.com, which is a very, very good company. And we've been with them since the very beginning, since storage auction started. And so we don't really have to go there, but we don't have to go there except for to take the pictures. All right. Because you have to have the pictures in order to get your units auctioned off. Right. So that means that what you need is you need a boots on the ground person. Right. And this is one of the other arms of management. Okay. This is a big part of kind of how we run our business. Who is the boots on the ground person, and are they capable of managing everything that needs to get done in order to make sure that we stay on top of our net rentals and stay on top of everything, getting the place leased up. If somebody moves out, what's the process? How often are we doing our walkthroughs? Let's put this here. Okay, so we've got move outs, we've got walkthroughs, we've got clean outs. We've got, and then we've got maintenance. I don't know how to spell maintenance. That says maintenance right there. Okay. All right. So the boots on the ground person for us is like one of the most important people in the company. But the truth is the boots on the ground person is like the hardest person to hire, find, and keep on staff, especially if you have only like one facility and this person's like part-time. That's the real struggle that we have internally, is just hiring a boots on the ground person that's going to stick around, because if they're only working 1 day or 2 days a week, it's very hard to kind of have somebody that's just going to stick with you for like ever. So we struggle because we have so many facilities. We struggle with boots on the ground people. We're always training a new boots on the ground person. And it's like always something's happening. And we call it contractor bingo, is what we call it. We're going to create this game. It's called contractor bingo. And it's like all the excuses that contractors come up with to not like finish their projects. Right. And we're going to make it into a bingo card and we're going to play bingo. It's the same excuses from like the boots on the ground people. Right. So for instance, like we have one guy at one of our facilities, it was raining, so he didn't come. He only works on Thursdays and Sundays. And on Thursday it was raining, so he didn't go. He only went on Sunday. So that means he did not go for 1 day. That's 1 full day that like nothing got done. All right. It's like super annoying to me. And, so like this is something that you struggle with. It's like, okay, can we get everything done in just 1 day? And if it's a really big facility, like you need more than 1 day a lot of time for people to go because it takes a long time to go through and take pictures, right? And to do a walkthrough and open up doors and clean out units and handle like any trash out. It's just really 1 day is a lot. It's it's not enough time to get everything done a lot of the times, so like, on one facility, maybe they're going out once a month, once a week, and it's just like, and then what happens is if they're only going out once a week, everything that's supposed to get done on a weekly basis doesn't, and then it just gets pushed out. And then all of this trickles out to this, and you have unrunnable units, and you have people calling, and you cannot lease a unit to them. And so for that for me is like a huge no. I do not want to be turning away anybody that calls up and wants to move in and can't because of us. If it's our problem, we are the problem, right? If there's an issue, we're the problem as the management company. So you have to have boots on the ground people to a really, really good boots on the ground person. So for instance, like we have a boots on the ground person that, and our boots on the ground people, when we go out and find them, like our boots on the ground people have to be a jack of all trades. They have to be able to do everything. They have to be able to work in all different types of weather. They have to be able to fix everything. I know they want to be, they have to be open to like either mowing the lawn or maybe changing a spring on the door or, like painting bollards or getting on a roof and fixing a roof leak or fixing the padding. I mean, it's just like every week there's like so much stuff that goes on that you really need somebody that's just like super versatile. This is kind of a thing that, that's really changed for us over like as we started to grow. Our boots on the ground people when we started were really kind of like maybe lawn maintenance people, and they go out and kind of do some handyman stuff here and there. But what we learned is that your boots on the ground person is going to cost you a lot of money if you do not hire the right person. And so, so for instance, like one of our boots on the ground, like one of our training sequences that we do is that like we teach our boots on the ground people to change the springs down on the doors. And Pete will go in and show them how to do it. And then what Pete will do is lock himself into a unit and have the person change the spring in the unit, like in the dark, right? To be able to change that out and stuff. And like, they have to be able to master that. So like, that's one of the big things that we do in training is because, changing out springs is a huge part of the job. And especially get a broken door. Otherwise you got to go and do it, or you have to hire like a garage door person to do it. And that costs like a lot of money. Our boots on the ground people do everything. They paint, they get up on the roof, they fix everything that that's the type of person that we hire. And we're okay with paying a little bit more money if they have the skills to do all of that stuff so that we don't have to be calling around to contractors and trying to find a door person because we didn't hire the right person to be able to do the job. Right. So boots on the ground for us, again, is a huge part of how our management runs and how we can make our management process as seamless as possible. And it will be a huge holdup if you are not good at doing this and training them. Right. Okay. So again, yeah. So now this is kind of it, I think, actually. These are the five big parts to management internally for us right now. This is what we're focusing on. And so we're really focusing on being really, really good with marketing. We are focusing on having the best phone staff that we possibly can. Somebody that is amazing at converting, and we keep track of conversions. We keep track of, how many conversions each person does. And if one, and like we basically watch the phone people, and whoever's doing the most conversions is how we change the sequence of the phones. So because maybe they're just not on it every week, or every month or something. So we'll say like, look, this person, it was really good for the first couple of months, and now they're kind of just like lagging. And this person over here was like second on the phone system, and they're doing way better than the first person. So let's just switch it up a little bit. And so we'll switch the phone sequence up on who answers the phone and how they answer it and stuff as well too. Because really, some months are really better than others. Sometimes you're just like not in the mood to like be pitching and like trying to get people to convert and stuff, So it's like, okay, let's put you on customer support, or let's put you on collections or whatever else. Okay, so phone for us is really, really important. And then the net rentals with the price and the occupancy. I talked a little bit about yield management. We get into yield management a lot in the coaching program, and we go over it a little bit in the course, but we get into that like once you get into ownership, you really understand. So it's like, if we have, let's just say that all these units are vacant right now. Like we have a lot of vacancy. All right. Then that means that the price of that unit is going to be cheaper than if you only had 5 units available or 1 unit available. Right. That's called dynamic pricing. And so that's kind of what we have to keep track of for each one of our facilities per unit, right? So if you've got like 10 different unit sizes, you need to be on top of looking at every single one of the prices, how much you have availability, what's the price, and how much you're going to be charging based off of your availability. Now, softwares like Store Edge, they automate that. A lot of softwares do not automate that. So when you do demos on your softwares, you want to be asking about their yield management and their dynamic pricing processes and how that works. But we take full advantage of that inside of our Store Edge software. And then also pricing here, dynamic pricing, and just your price, right? Just your price. Okay, so we have at least 5 or 6 different prices. Okay, so that's something that we could talk about right now under the marketing. All right, is we have a whole bunch of different prices. You guys are hanging in there with me, right? I hope y'all are hanging in. This is like, I love this stuff. So hopefully y'all are getting it. Okay. Okay. So price. So we have a whole bunch of different prices. So for us, marketing is, right, obviously everybody knows Google Ads, square foot. Okay. That's like the 2 big ones. Okay. But then you also have your website and your Google business listing. Okay. And that's part of our marketing. We look at, like, we spend a lot of time every week. We'll pick like a couple of facilities every week to work on because we can't do all of them. But like, we'll look at the website and how is the website looking? Is the flow of the website good? Is anybody complaining about the website? So for instance, I just had a meeting with my phone person. I always have a meeting with my phone manager right before this. And she was telling me that somebody called into one of our facilities and the price on the website was not matching up to what the price in the rental center was. And, the price on the website was cheaper than the rental center, but when they were trying to book it, they couldn't get the cheaper price. So they called in and, complained. And then we obviously just matched the price and gave it to them. But like, you have to make sure that it works like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that your prices on your website are the same prices that you have inside your management system. Okay. And so website, we have one price. And then also we have the Google ads. We do Google ads for like not all of our facilities. Any facility that's like less than 80% full, we do Google 85% full. We do Google ads for. Now, we have a different price for those people. And in Google ads, right? So the way Google ads works is you can actually the way that we do it, I don't know how, there's probably a million ways you can do it, but the way that we do it is we do sales calls and then direct to the website. All right. So like you can click on it and it'll call us. And a lot of people will just do that. They'll just call right in. And then we look at how many calls we're getting from this ad on a weekly basis and how much are those calls costing us. Okay. And then we also have another ad that's like, just click here and just, you could just, pay on, we could just run it online and it's all completely like, automated virtual. You don't talk to anybody. You just go online. And there's just, there's 2 different types of people in the world. People that like just do everything online and there's people that want to call in and talk to somebody, right? So that's basically why we do those ads. All right. And then for each of those ads, we have different prices based on what we have available. Right. So why would you do 50% off, your first 3 months for the entire facility when all you have left is like 4 10x10s? Okay. And you're struggling to get those 10x10s rented. So you're going to have a promo price just for those units. So then you have to like mentally, or like, for us, we look at it on a weekly basis on sheets, but like you're trying to think of like, what am I charging for a 10x10? Am I actually getting move-ins for that unit? And if not, what price should I be charging for that 10x10? All the other unit sizes are doing fine. We're full on all those, but we're really struggling with 10x10s. On one of our facilities in Georgia, we are struggling to get 10x20s. Like it's got a good mix of like 5x10s, 10x10s, 10x15s, 10x20s, and 10x30s. It's got a really good mix of units, But for some reason, we cannot get 10 by 20s filled. And we have lowered the price. We do promos. We tell the people on the phone, like, price match, try to get the, try to, convince them to, and then our Google ad is get a 10 by 20 for the price of a 10 by 15 or a 10 by 10 or something like that. So like, it's very specific. Our marketing is very specific based on what unit sizes that we're struggling to fill. Okay. That's kind of how our marketing is. And you can imagine, like, if you have a lot of different sizes and you're looking at the occupancy, you're looking at the price, you're looking at your move-ins or your move-outs, it gets really kind of convoluted. Maybe one facility, small facility, is not that big of a deal, but like, I mean, a couple hundred units really is kind of a lot of work to keep track of and be on top of. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And so we have Google Ads, sales, and direct to website. Prices are different based on what we have available. And we have also Sparefoot. The Sparefoot is a completely different price than the Google Ads, right? Because Sparefoot's expensive, and so like we have a cheaper price in Sparefoot because you have to pay like maybe double or triple the amount of the money. So we'll have like a cheaper price if they come through Sparefoot, or if we have a higher bidder, Sparefoot's kind of complicated, but if you bid higher, then you could do maybe a different price or something. Anyway, so we have different prices for Sparefoot. And then also our website has a different price, right? So it'll have like a promo going on based on what units we have available. Okay. And then also we have Google Business Listing. And Google Business Listing is by far one of the most important things that you can do as an owner. It's making sure that your Google Business Listing is the most amazing, beautiful Google Business Listing you ever have, because that Google Business Listing is what comes up on Google Maps. You can also do the same thing for Apple Maps, because I could put Apple on here too. Apple has said that they're putting a lot of money into Apple Maps because all these iPhones use Apple Maps, and they're going to really try to like get it to where it's their own thing. It's going to be a competitor of Google Business Listing. So like we're looking at Apple versus Google Business Listing and making sure that we are updating those on a weekly basis with new pictures or posts or blogs or whatever it is. Okay. And actually, that's another thing I didn't put in here, SEO. We spend a lot of money on SEO. We actually have an in-house person that does. We don't really spend a lot of money. We spend a lot on the person, but we have an in-house person that manages all of our SEO. If you are not focusing on SEO for your company, then you are missing out, because the truth is that for the most part, 80 to 90% of the people that come in are going to be coming in online or through some sort of online marketing that you're doing. Rarely ever do we have like walk-ins or drive-by or referrals, right? So like on our sheet, we'll have like the name of the facility, okay? And then we have the Google ad sales, and then we have Sparefoot, and then we have Google ad website, and then we have walk-in, referral, drive-by, and like whatever else we're doing. Okay, so all these different ads. And then every week for our facility, right, we're saying, okay, we got 3 move-ins here, 2 here, 4 here, 1 here, 0 and 0. Like we rarely ever get any move-ins from like walk-ins or drive-bys. Like back in the day, like you could put a sign up, people would drive by and they'd move in, right? But now like this never happens. Okay, so most of the time, the people that are going to be moving in are moving in from those 3 things, or like any online marketing that you're doing. So that means that your SEO has to be like amazing, right? Amazing. And if you're not working on that or understanding that or having somebody help you do that, then essentially you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And I can guarantee and tell you that we've been working on SEO for a while now, and our SEO is amazing. And it really helps. That's why we have so many move-ins. Like we're getting on average like 10 to 15 move-ins on a weekly basis for each of our like facilities. Like I'm serious, for each of our facilities. Now we have 10 or like we have like 12 facilities are completely full right now, and we have like 4 facilities that are not full. And those facilities we're getting on average like 10 to 15 move-ins a week. And the reason why is because of what I'm telling you. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it, right? So our marketing is definitely on par, and we have to compete with CubeSmart, Extra Space, like in Clarksville, Tennessee, or in Orlando, where we have facilities. We are competing with bigger players, and we are still getting like 10 or 15 move-ins a week. And it's because of everything that I'm telling you right now. Okay. All right. And then marketing. Yeah. So that's it. I think marketing, Google Ads, And then Google Ads, sales calls, direct to website, SEO, Google Business Listings. Your website has to be amazing. Your website has to be very good for people to follow through on. If it's not, then like people are just going to drop off. Like they're going to find a website. Like go to like a U-Haul or an Extra Space website and try to book a rental. And it's like super easy to do that. That is how your website should be. If it's not, then like people just drop off. Right? They're just like, no, I'm going to find somebody cheaper. I know because like I do that too. I'm like, oh, this is way too confusing. I'm out. Right? Because I'm looking for glasses right now and I'm going to buy some new glasses. So I'm going online. I'm going to try some online glasses. I haven't done that before. I started looking online and there's a couple of websites. I'm like, this is too complicated with the whole thing. Like I'm out. I'm not using this website. So it's the same thing, same concept, but just for your storage facilities. Anyway, so overall, because we're running out of time, overall, you have just got like a super high level brain dump of how we manage all 16 of our facilities. All right. This is what we're focusing on and working on like on a weekly basis. And I'm trying to put a process together for all my students. I'm going to put a whole course together and stuff for them. So I was just kind of wanting to do a brain dump. So you guys got the brain dump. So that's it. So it is management. You've got marketing. You've got your phones, you've got your net rentals with your occupancy and your price, the auction process, and being able to stay on top of auctions, and actually auctions and bad debt, right? This is it, auctions and bad debt. This is kind of like that's the two things that go hand in hand. If they're late, we say people are 1 to 30 days late and then 30 days or more late. If they're 30 days or less late, they are being called every single day. Every day they're being called, emailed, texted, you need to pay, you need to pay, you need to pay. And then after day 23, they go into the auction process. So like from 30 days on, we don't really contact them once a week. Say, hey, you're going into the auction process. Hey, you're about to get auctioned. Hey, you're about to get auctioned. It's kind of how we do it. But it's a whole internal system. It's an SOP that we've internally created because we have so many tenants that are typically on average around the 15th of the month, we're at about 20%, like 20% past due still. Like we still have 20% of the people that haven't paid. So if you have 20%, I mean, that is a butt ton of money, right? So like you're having to call and say, pay all the time. So like one person, our collections person, that is their job. As soon as the person's late, they're on top of calling every single day. All right. And so that is it. And then finally, the auctions. Not the auctions, the boots on the ground people. Hiring the best person. So hiring really good phone people that you train. They are going to make or break your facility. The boots on the ground person, if you don't hire a good one, then they're going to really screw the whole process up. So that could be you. All right, for either one of those things, or you have to, find somebody to do that. But those are the two most important types of people in your company. Okay. All right. So that is my brain dump. Any thoughts on that? Any questions? Somebody's asking, what is Sparefoot? Sparefoot is an online company that does like ads for your facilities. Okay. And they do a lot of SEO and they get you on the first page, depending on how much you bid, so it's all, of course, money and stuff, but it's a company that markets for tenants for your facilities. All right. Now, I'm going to say there are some competition, or there are some competitors that are trying to get startup to compete with Sparefoot. And so, over the course of the next year, I think we'll have more options outside of Sparefoot. But for right now, Sparefoot is really kind of that big company that does marketing for tenants, for owners. Okay. Anything else? Any thoughts on this? Any questions? Okay, so remember, again, I'm going to repeat myself, okay? StorageNerds.com for the coaching, Stacy Rossetti for all, like my course, the deal analyzer, how to run numbers, everything I just talked to is in the course. The boot camp is this weekend. So come hang out with me and sit. And this is what I do is I just teach for like 2 days straight and kind of go over step by step what you're supposed to be doing, okay? And how you can think outside the box. That's 18th and 19th. It's virtual. So hop on, just hang out with me. And then I have a Facebook group. It's called Super Simple Self-Storage. So make sure you join that group and come in, just ask any questions that you have. And we're always there answering all the questions, okay? I appreciate you hanging in there till the end, and I will see you guys at the next session. All right, take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.